The following is an ESG360 video.
Hi, I'm Steve Duplessie, and I'm joined today by ESG Senior Analyst Terri McClure, who's covering mobile, online file services, and collaboration for ESG. Hi, Terri.
Hi, Steve.
Well, it's that time of year again, the beginning of the season. What's going to go on, and what are you going to cover and think about during 2015?
The biggest thing that's going to happen in 2015 will be dictated by what happens with the federal courts this year. I'm not sure how closely you follow this, but there was a ruling last July that Microsoft actually had to turn over data in its Ireland data center to the U.S. under a subpoena. And the ruling was driven by the fact that because they could do it in the U.S., because the control plane was in the U.S., and they had the keys, they had the metadata, they had the ability to do it from the U.S. without going to Irish soil, that meant it was under the purview of U.S. laws. And so the whole data sovereignty issue that we hear about, if data needs to live in country, if it's about customers or it has identifiable information,
Sure.
We've always thought we've been safe if the data lived in country. But now the U.S. court is saying if you can control it from the U.S., sovereignty doesn't matter where the data is, it's where the control plane is, and that Microsoft had to turn over the data.
So what kind of things are you expecting to take a look at there? I'm assuming there's appeals underway.
There's appeals underway. I mean, the ruling happened last July. Microsoft appealed the decision in December. They were joined by companies like Apple and AT&T. A lot of people are filing briefs here because this is going to completely change how we do cloud-based business right now. You look at companies like Box, their control plane is in the US. They've got the metadata,
Sure.
They've got access to the data. So I think for cloud companies, it's going to be not good enough just to have the data in the country. They have to give the people in country access, the ability to manage the keys to the data, the encryption keys. Because if a cloud provider has access to the data and a cloud provider has access to the encryption keys, they're going to be open to having to turn over data no matter where the data lives. So it's not just data sovereignty issue, it's a control plane sovereignty issue, I guess we can call it, a metadata sovereignty issue. All of that stuff's going to have to be somehow managed in country. And
so there's going to
change.
Technology changes that are going to have to occur, process changes that are going to have to occur, all sorts of policies and procedures, et cetera, et cetera. So it's going to be a mess, is what you're telling me.
It's going to be a mess because so many of these systems weren't engineered to be able to do this.
Sure. What else are you thinking about?
Oh gosh, it's going to be an interesting year. I mean, the market, we've been talking about market consolidation for years. It's come slower, I think, than we've expected. There's still an awful lot of companies out there. So this is the obvious stuff like market consolidation and people just not being able to survive. And a continued evolution of the products in this space to do more content management type functionality. The space is really evolving from file sync and share, the kind of, that's 101 level functionality, the basics, to being mobile productivity and mobile collaboration. So it's really a next-gen productivity and collaboration platform that we're seeing these systems evolve into. Much more functionality, much more business impact and taking the friction out of business processes than basic file sync and share. So we'll continue to keep looking for those evolutions in products as companies try to do that without adding too much complexity into the products. That's going to be the challenge for the vendors.
Terrific. Okay, well, to get more of Terri's research over this now and through the coming years, make sure you get to www.esg-global.com. Thanks very much, Terri.
Thanks, Steve.